Put this video together to talk about the illusion of hip hop, the streets, and also the prison pipeline, something that we don't commonly think about or put two and two together, right? When we think of record labels, we think of rich white guys up in their towers, or maybe some of our favorite artists that have their label that's underneath another label, but there's a huge connection between all of it. We watch our favorite music videos, our favorite movies, our favorite commercials that have these hip hop gangsters and artists that come out in Lamborghinis and gold chains, and they got girls around them and expensive jackets, and that's all just smoke and mirrors. It's all illusions. When an artist first gets signed to the label, they often get a front or an advancement to them, which they have to wind up paying back. And they pay that back through album sales, through merchandise, through concerts on the road. And majority of that money, as well as owning the rights to their songs, aren't theirs as well. A lot of times they have artists or they have ghostwriters, as they call them, that write these songs for them. They come up with a catchy hook. And even nowadays, they even have a machine. And the machine, they can feed 1,000 different songs into it, and it can figure out with AI and the algorithms based off of the beats per minutes, the words, the lyrics, the chorus, and all those different things, which one's going to be the next hit. So when you got these art, oh man, his lyrics are sick. They're probably not even his lyrics. So after the cameras go off and the music video gets published, all that has to be paid back. The studio just doesn't front that money and say, all right, great job, guys. Have a nice day. All the rented chains and the girls and all the fake smoke and mirrors that didn't belong to those artists all have to get paid back. These guys rap about music and about the streets and the hood, that they're from, or that they're doing dirt and robberies and all this bullshit. It's just not true. Majority of the artists that rap about the streets that they are from can't even go back there anymore because of jealousy, because of rival gangs, because of haters. They wind up going back. You see them sometimes on YouTube. They try to walk the streets in the hood or the clubs, and they get shot. They get jumped and beat up. They get robbed, and they lose that. They're living in the suburbs. They're living in farms. They're not even in the same state anymore that they came from. And it's pretty sad because kids, especially with technology these days, they're watching TikTok and YouTube and Instagram of all their favorite artists. And then they want to go out in the streets and emulate the same things and imitate them. They want to sell drugs. They want to have this hopes and dreams of being Scarface and becoming like the artist that they see in their music videos. And it's all a fake lie. And sadly, what happens is, majority of those kids and people that go out and do that, most of them wind up dead and they wind up in prison. The same with the artists. They come out and they have some one hit wonders. Maybe they even put out a whole entire album. And what people don't show you, all you see is the success. You see the success in your news feed and TikTok, and oh my God, I bet they're retired and living life. No, they wind up in debt. They waste their money on businesses that go bankrupt. They waste their money on schemes or maybe, drugs and jewelry and girls and fancy hotels. So that way they can continuously portray that image. But unfortunately, they can't live that lifestyle. It's all fake. And a lot of them, again, they wind up dead, they wind up in prison, and it goes on to our kids. Now what the sad part is that a lot of the corporations that own these record labels, like Universal Music Group, Warner Music Group, and Sony Music, the biggest hip hop record labels out there, are largely owned by Vanguard. I know you guys have heard that name before, BlackRock, and State Street. Now, at the same time, those same major corporations are the top shareholders for Core Civic and Geo Group, the two largest private prison operations in the US. So here you got the money, the banks, the corporations selling you the lifestyle, right? Selling you the dream and the fantasy of being a baller and rolling a Bentley, blah, blah, blah. And then they're making tons of money off you. The only time artists really make money off their music is ticket sales when they're on the road and doing concerts. And it's very minimal at that as well. And you know what? The kids get caught up, the artists get caught up, and both of them, they wind up in jail, they wind up in prison. And now the same corporations that are making money off the record sales and the music videos, now they're making money off of you being in prison, making money off of our youth locked up, imitating fake artists. It's all smoke and mirrors, it's all entertainment. It's marketing schemes. They're telling a story, they're selling a lie. And it's unfortunate that our kids don't understand this. and they don't think that deep. You know, if you go and research majority of your artists from back in the day and even now, when you don't hear from them anymore, they're broke. They're broke. They're in rehab. They're homeless on the streets. They're in prison or dead. It's all a lie, and people need to wake up and realize that everything being put on the screen isn't reality. And to be a drug dealer, to be a rapper, is more than likely it's never going to get you anywhere besides prison or dead. The days of millionaire rappers is gone. They talk about I got bands, I got millies, I'm making millions, and it's full of shit. Those mini labels are owned by other labels that are owned by other labels, and it's all gone. So they don't need you. You know, you might be a good rapper, but there's 1,000 more behind you. They're going to come into the game. They're going to use you, spit you out, and you're going to wind up with nothing. So to all our kids out there that think that they're in their room writing, they're selling drugs, statistically, you're not going to make it anywhere. And even if you happen to get a contract, you're just going to wind up in debt. You're going to throw away, going to school and college because you think you have it made. You're surrounded by girls and lawyers and fake people that want to just use you for what you have. And in the long run, you're going to regret it. Focus on your education, focus on knowledge, read books, listen to your parents, save money, invest, especially in the world we live in right now, the way the market is, the way technology is moving forward. More importantly, some that people don't think about, AI, artificial intelligence, has already taken almost 15 to 20% of the jobs out there. And they're going to continue to do so as they improve on technology, as they improve on robots. They're not going to need somebody to answer the phone at the dentist office. They're not going to need mechanics to work on cars, just like Volkswagen, Hyundai, and other factories out there that have zero humans working. They don't even have lights on. They're robots working in the dark. They're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull your car up. Machines and robots are going to take it in. These jobs are disappearing. Use your mind. Get ahead of it. Don't waste your time. Below, check out my link. Please go and check out my book. Get a copy of it. It's called The Streets Won't Love You Back by Marcus Kwan. Stories of my life mixed with a little scripture and some of the important lessons that I learned and came out of. If you know anybody that's struggling, or what I get a lot of feedback from parents is they don't know how to talk to their kids about certain topics, whether it's sex, drugs, porn, jail, the streets, whatever. This book has helped a lot of people do that as well.